Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a podcast with me, Brittany Duncan, a millennial homemaker. Join me each week as I share all the things I've learned that make keeping your home, garden, and life running smoothly, all while working. If you are enjoying the podcast, please be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcasting app so you get the episodes downloaded straight to you every Monday. Now, on to today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Untraditionally Traditional, a millennial homemaker. I'm switching things up this week and starting with a new opening to my episodes, which will cover 3 things that I am loving this week. Some of them will be unique to my life, verbalized as a way of showing gratitude for where I'm at, and others will be things that I hope help others. So let's get to it. Number 1, my coffee maker. Johnson and I don't drink alcohol, and therefore coffee is kind of our mixology area where we get creative. We have so many different coffee making devices, a French press, an espresso machine, cold brew, nitro cold brew, the list goes on. But recently I plugged in our Mr. Coffee drip coffee maker, the most basic of basic coffee makers. And I've been loving it. Mainly, I've been loving presetting it at night so that when I wake up in the morning, there's a fresh pot of coffee waiting for me. It's the simplest thing that's just made waking up in the morning such a joy. And yeah, just really nice to get back to basics. Number 2 is a recent recipe that I've tried, and it's similar to number 1. It's made by Morning Simple and Delicious. In the February edition of Bon Appetit, there's this recipe for a cornbread breakfast casserole. I can't find it on their website yet, and I imagine that they'll publish it in February. And for fear of copyright infringement, I don't want to share the exact recipe here. But I promise that as soon as it publishes on their website, I'll put the link on my Instagram at Untraditionally Traditional Pod. It's wonderful, definitely worth making, the perfect blend of spicy and sweet, and it's easy to make, and then you cut it into squares, and you can just reheat one each morning, and chef's kiss. Loving it. Number 3 is a new routine that I've put into place to combat Sage's shedding. For new listeners, Sage is our golden retriever who is the love and joy of Johnson and my lives. In fact, you'll probably hear her maybe in the background of this episode. She's sitting next to me in her bed and has decided that now is the perfect time to go through her grooming routine. So if you hear licking or collar shaking or all of those things, that is Sage. But she sheds like crazy. Since she was a puppy, we have trained her to wait to be allowed to eat her breakfast or dinner with the command release. Now, instead of making her go through her typical routine, which is a combination of sit, shake, give me a kiss, I give her one, all of those things before I tell her to release and she can have her breakfast, I'm now making her wait, and I run her paddle brush over her coat. It takes about 30 seconds. The simple act of brushing her 2 times a day, though, has made a world of difference with the fur in our home. So I remember to do it. I do it when I'm feeding her. She doesn't mind it as much because she knows she's going to be rewarded afterwards, and it's a win-win. Okay, so that wraps up things I am loving this week. Let's get into the main meat of today's episode, which is talking about routines. We are in a new year, 2 weeks in fact, and it's where we start to realize that our New Year's resolutions are realistic or not, where the excitement may be waning and you may be starting to feel the slog of changing a lifestyle habit. January always brings excitement and the idea of endless possibilities. For one reason or another, January seems to be the month where we feel that change is possible. It feels like every year, one of my resolutions is to be more organized, to find more balance in life, juggle everything better. And the solution for that often feels like a new calendar system. Finding a planner or calendar system is one of the more challenging tasks, in my opinion. You have your traditional paper options and thousands of them to choose from. And then there are electric calendars. Apple, iCalendar, Google Calendar, Microsoft software, other softwares like Motion, different apps that adjust in real time when a meeting runs long or is canceled, and moves things around for you. And then there's different to-do list apps and trackers and on and on. For me, the best solution has been a combination of solutions, and the balance of these solutions is ever evolving and changing. So let's talk about the constants that I've been using for years and years, and then I'll move into my new January 2025 edition. iCalendar. Apple seems to own me when it comes to the devices I use. My phone's an iPhone, and then both my personal and my work computers are Apple. And I really appreciate the communication between Apple devices. It's really helpful. I like also with iCalendar that you have the ability to have multiple calendars feeding into it. So I have my personal and my work calendar, show up in one central location. Personally, I only put actual events, appointments, and meetings on my calendar. I don't use my calendar as somewhere that I put tasks, although I know some people do, but that's just me. The software I use as my to-do list and where I do put those tasks is an app called Things. It's a paid software. It's a one-time fee. I have it on my phone and both computers, and it is the best software for keeping track of everything I need to do in a day. My personal and my work tasks get dumped in here. Some are set to recurring, like vacuuming and laundry, and others are one-time tasks. I talked a lot more about the ins and outs of this software on episode 4, which is titled Routines Give Me Freedom. So if you want to listen to that and learn more about it, you can. But I love this software. It's simple, functional. It does exactly what I need a to-do list to do. When I'm in one of my spells where there are a million tasks buzzing around in my head, I open my Things app and I do a brain dump. There's an ability to set tasks to someday as well, which is great for the tasks that you would like to do, but they're not time sensitive and you don't need to look at every day. Okay, so probably for 3 years now, I've just used those two softwares, but I have decided to add in an old friend, the Paper Day Planner. Prior to using iCalendar and Things exclusively, I was a Paper Day Planner user. Strictly, that's all I used, and I was like wed to this book. But when I changed careers, I adopted the eCalendar because meetings are constantly changing, and I needed something that was more fluid so that I wasn't constantly scribbling out events in my calendar as they got moved. But I have found that there's something about a paper day planner that an electric calendar cannot accomplish, in my opinion. For me, a paper planner allows me to see the big picture, the balance of where my time is being divided. My work time is what it is. It's set, for the most part, unchangeable. So my paper calendar is strictly used for the personal parts of my life. Personal, spouse, family, friends, volunteering. When I decided that I wanted to start 2025 off incorporating a paper calendar again, I searched through all of the options, and oh my goodness, there are a ton. I feel like in the 3 years that I have taken off from not using a paper calendar, it's gotten a lot more complex, or maybe I'm just more into it. I don't know. But the one I landed on to try out is called the Home Planner by Passionate Penny Pincher. This planner seemed to be a cross between the home management task that I keep in my Things app and a paper planner, but it goes beyond that. It has daily Bible reading recommendations, finance tracking, and monthly and seasonal checklists for the home. It seemed really well thought out, and I wanted to give it a shot this year. I'll let you know how it goes when I'm a few months in, but so far I'm enjoying it. I'm using different colors for categories of events: pink for my family, purple for Johnson's family, green for Johnson and I only, blue for friends, orange for personal. And the goal here is that when I look at my month at a glance, I want to see a balance of those colors, that I am seeing my parents, I'm seeing Johnson's parents, that he and I are having some time for just ourselves in our marriage, and that I am taking some personal time as well to do things that bring me joy. Finding that balance. If you work a 9-to-5 like I do, it can be really hard to make sure that you're seeing or calling your family members, having regular dates with your spouse, seeing your friends, and making time for yourself to recoup, all on only a few weeknights and 4 weekends a month. It takes being really conscious about dividing your time to achieve a balance. I'll be frank that this is an area in my life that I struggle with. I go in waves of seeing my parents and grandmother's lots, and then mentally, I feel like I've checked that box, and then move on to seeing my friends plainly because I feel like, oh gosh, I need to make more time for my friends. And then, I see them a bunch, and then I feel like, oh gosh, Johnson and I haven't done much together. I need to spend more time with him. And then he and I do a bunch of things together. And then personal time is typically cut out completely. And each group feels like you've gone radio silent between the last time they saw you and the next time they will. And so my goal is just to get that more in balance and more regular. I want to use this home planner fully the way that it's meant to be used, but be cognizant of where my time and energy is going each month in my personal life. I'm aiming for that better balance. Quality and quantity of time are different. And so I really want to have quality time with the groups. And looking ahead and planning better helps me to be able to achieve that quality time, right? As opposed to flying by the seat of my pants. Our lives are complex, and the idea that there's going to be one system or schedule that keeps everything in check and is easy to use, in my experience, isn't realistic. So I'm combining these three to fit my needs. And the thing that I can tell you is that the best system is the one that you'll actually use. So if you have a system but find you don't use it consistently, I would encourage you to find a new tactic. There are many options. On one hand, it can be annoying because it makes it hard to find the one that's going to fit for you, but it also means that there's likely an option developed by somebody who has a very similar brain to you that will hopefully work for you perfectly. So keep up the search, stick to the calendar that you're trying, I would say for 3 months to give it a fair go. And then if it isn't working, try another system, or maybe add an additional system to the system that you have to fill the areas where there is a gap, like what I've done. I'm using 3 calendars. I know that seems crazy to some people, but it really helps to keep everything in check. A lot of us live complex lives and honestly multiple different lives. I have my main business, my side business. I'm married. We have family in town. We have lots of different friend groups, and we try to volunteer places. And, there's a lot to juggle. And so the idea that you might need more than one calendar isn't crazy. May our year, this year, 2025, be organized and well-planned with minimal stress. May we all not only find the work-life balance, but the balance between our loved ones and our personal lives this year, and make times for ourselves too. Cheers, and until next week, happy homemaking. Thank you for listening to this episode of Untraditionally Traditional. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with those special people who would love it too, and write a review. For more tips and photos of my home and garden, follow Untraditionally Traditional Pod on Instagram. Until next week, let's continue to make our homes places of joy and service to ourselves and those we share them with.